I hope you've had a great day. Today I want to talk about one of the many questions we get every single day. Questions coming from the space of fear, heart attacks. We saw this on social media, Instagram, the media is covering people dropping dead in gyms, marathons, at home, at work, not waking up from their sleep, cardiac arrests everywhere. A lot of people like to blame it on different things, and we're here to solve the problem at a base level, okay? Whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's whoever wants to believe it's a COVID vaccine, we're not taking away from that. About 4 to 5 to 6% of the cardiac arrests or heart attacks that can happen it can have nothing to do with the topic I'm speaking about today. Okay, it could be a valve defect, it could be fibrillation, etc. But the balance, almost 94 to 95%, starts off with what we're talking about today. If you've had a cholesterol problem that caused a heart attack, if you have stents in you, if you have high blood pressure, if you've had issues where you have plaque, your CT, your calcium score is high, all of these issues, you've had thrombosis, you've had platelet aggregation, it involves going back to the basics, and that I'm going to take about 2 minutes to explain. Within your blood vessels, within our blood vessels, we have a layer of cells called the endothelial lining. It's a smooth surface. Covering the smooth surface is something called your glycocalyx. Think of it as gels. It's like a little gel on the smooth surface of your artery, made up of proteins. When blood flows through, there's not supposed to be friction. It's supposed to be smooth. Like you look at a garden hose or a pipe, you put your finger in, it's smooth. So the water can flow out easily. The flow is good. If there's friction, there's going to be problems. Now the endothelial lining has many, many functions. Vascular integrity, which means all the health of your blood vessels, stiffness, the ability to relax, the ability to produce a molecule called nitric oxide that is the magic of our blood vessels. It allows our blood vessels to relax, not get too stiff. You can imagine what's happening if your blood vessel gets too stiff. Okay, we can have problems, we can have blockages, we can have plaque, we can have ruptures. The second thing, it also regulates your immune system. You know, we have immune cells, your white blood cells, your NK cells traveling through your blood vessels. There's a little problem if this glycocalyx gel-like substance or the endothelial lining gets damaged over time. Now it starts to get a little sticky. You see, there's more friction. And you don't want immune cells sticking to this. They're supposed to flow. You don't want calcium particles sticking to these damaged endothelial linings, now forming plaque. And then this plaque forms more and more. The artery gets stiffened. You have a rupture, you have a cardiac event. We're getting back to the basics today. So there are many, many reasons why we could have this. What damages? So the next question would be, what damages the glycocalyx? What damages the blood vessels? Many things. Let's break it down. Number one, high blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure and you are on medication for that, please do not miss your medication or stop your medication without your doctor in the loop. Now let's say you're making lifestyle changes, your systolic is getting better, your diastolic is getting better. Fantastic, your doctor will reduce your blood pressure medication. The biggest and most dangerous mistake is stopping it or missing it. Let's explain why. The medicine is at least controlling your blood pressure. If the blood pressure increases, what's happening in these blood vessels? It's creating, the pressure's wrong, the pressure's got to be right. High blood pressure will create problems with the endothelial lining. They start to get stiffer and stiffer, and after a while, this high blood pressure doesn't only affect your blood vessels, it can start to affect capillaries. Think of them as smaller blood vessels that are found in your kidney. That's why a lot of people have CKD, which is chronic kidney disease, because of damage done by high blood pressure, which was not controlled. So high blood pressure is one. Number two, high blood sugar. If you are diabetic, yes, your type 2 diabetes, you can reverse it, you can get off your medication, but you never stop your medication. You reduce your medication as your doctor reduces it because, hey, guess what? You're making lifestyle changes, your blood sugar's falling, your doctor will and has to reduce your medication. But if you stop your medication and you have spikes of high blood sugar levels, what's it damaging? Your blood vessels, your glycocalyx, your endothelial lining, and it is setting the stage for future heart problems. When our endothelial lining starts to get damaged, you, me, children, teenagers, senior citizens, doesn't matter. We have already set the stage for possible cardiac events. Maybe the cardiac event won't happen, but we set the stage for plaque formation. Now imagine I got some calcium and some triglycerides and a little excess of cholesterol going through my blood vessels. As long as the endothelial lining is smooth, where does it go? It keeps flowing. But if it's damaged and I've lost that gel-like protein, the glycocalyx, it starts to stick to the inside of my blood vessels. The endothelial is damaged. It doesn't produce that molecule called nitric oxide, which helps us dilate and allows the garbage or whatever it is to pass through. So it starts to stick. When it starts to stick, that's not a good thing. So we want to be careful of high blood sugar. Smoking obviously creates damage to our endothelial lining. A poor diet, which is basically ultra-processed junk, inflammatory foods. Of course you can have some of that. It can't be our primary diet. But when you're eating natural foods support your endothelial lining. They support your glycocalyx. What damages it is everything that's unnatural, which is junk and processed food. A sedentary lifestyle will also damage your endothelial lining. Why? To maintain the integrity of your endothelial lining, you need blood flow. Where does blood flow come from? Blood circulation. Do we have the greatest blood circulation when we're sedentary? No. Which is why exercise is your friend for your blood vessel health, indirectly and then directly your overall heart health. Overtraining when you're sleep deprived will damage your endothelial lining. Too much stress, too much burden. Sleep deprivation is directly connected with endothelial dysfunction, and so is chronic stress. So a lot of you who follow me know I keep talking about sleep because of these reasons. Chronic stress because of these reasons. We may say, oh, but Luke, everyone's stressed. No one's sleeping. I know. But what are we doing about it? Because it is directly damaging your endothelial lining. We're going to get into the solution very soon. Before, a lot of people say today, Luke, but heart attacks would happen at 60, 65, 70. Now it's at 50, now it's at 40, now it's at 30. Some in the late 20s. How and why? It's very simple. When we don't have the right knowledge, we want to blame it on everything else but the truth. 15 years ago, did we have as much of access to junk and processed food as the kids today? As people in their 20s? No. So if we form plaque, we started forming plaque much, much later in life. Today, young kids and teenagers who are exposed to junk and the wrong foods at home have already started accumulating plaque. And that is why we will see the onset of cardiac events in late 20s, early 30s, and that's how it's changing. The damage is starting way earlier. I remember my parents, etc. Like we went out to a restaurant once a year, twice a year. Of course, we lived in a smaller place where we didn't have access to that. Junk was unheard of. We didn't even have fast food restaurants where we were growing up. Today, it's everywhere. So if we think that cardiac disease is for people in their 40s and 50s and 60s, you're highly mistaken. It has already started in your children and in your teenagers if they've been exposed to junk, ultra-processed, sedentary lifestyles, early smoking, vaping, sleep deprivation, and everything else. Now we know the reason, we got to jump into action. What can we do? I designed a simple recipe that you and I can do. It's easy, but before I get into that, I'm going to talk about the top foods that help us produce that miracle molecule called nitric oxide. The more nitric oxide you and I can produce, the more we can protect our endothelial lining. And our biggest job is to protect the endothelial lining. Now, once it's damaged, then we have reactive heart health. What we're talking about today is proactive heart health. Reactive heart health is when you've already got the blockage, you need a stent, you need a bypass, you need more medication, you need statins. It's already happened. So anyone who's already on a statin, anyone with a stent, anyone's got to a bypass, we already know the endothelial lining was damaged way before. But right now, we're talking about proactive heart health. So what can we do? Eating foods that are rich in nitrates that when they get digested with the right amount of stomach acid, they form nitrites. One of these foods is beetroot. The second most powerful food is spinach. Then you have arugula, you have lettuce. In the berry family, you have blueberries and strawberries. You have your omegas in salmon, mackerel, and sardines. And if you're vegetarian, you get it in algal oil or chia seeds and walnuts. When it comes to the nut family, your walnuts, your flax seeds, your chia seeds, and your pumpkin seeds can help you with the production of nitric oxide. Pomegranate, one of my most favorite fruits for its multiple health benefits at strategic levels. Pomegranate is great for nitric oxide, and all of your crucifers, which are my favorite group of vegetables when it comes to cancers or any other kind of disease. Sulfur-containing foods, crucifers like your broccoli, your cabbage, your garlic, your onions, your cauliflower, your arugulas, your vitamin C-rich foods like your bell peppers, your kiwis, your citrus fruits, magnesium-rich foods like almonds and avocado, dark chocolates, 75% and above. Green tea, 2 to 3 cups in a day. If you can't consume that much, 1 cup of matcha tea will probably be equivalent to about 4 to 5 cups of green tea. So that will do as well. Now here's the simple recipe that we made because, hey, I just read out a list of foods. Even I can't get those foods in every day if I'm traveling and if I'm busy. So it takes me less than 3 minutes to make this juice. I'm going to take a beetroot, peel it, wash it, chop it up. It's raw. Now, what if you can't have raw beetroot and raw spinach because maybe it just doesn't digest well or you have an oxalate problem? You can steam it or cook it, but you will reduce the nitrates. But it's still something better than nothing. So I'm going to cut the beets. I'm going to get a lemon. I'm going to juice the beets, squeeze a lemon in. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch to a 1 inch piece of ginger based on my taste tolerance or based on how big the beet is. I'm going to add that to the juicer. And I'm going to mix it all up. I'm going to put a pinch of black pepper, piperine, great for bioavailability and absorption. And then all I'm going to do is, I like to have it with the fiber. If you don't, you can strain it. All right? You can have this once a day. You can have this twice a day. If you have extremely low blood pressure, you're suffering from kidney stones, extreme gastritis, ulcers or gout, or you have something called nitrate sensitivity, then maybe the beetroot juice recipe is not for you, but you still have the other list of foods that can help you with nitric oxide. All right? This juice is simple to make. I've been making it for the last couple of days. It takes me exactly 3 minutes, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it, not my house help. So you can do it as well. Now you can store this in the fridge for 24 hours. After 24 hours, it's not going to hold that amount of nutrition. So in the interest of time, you can store it for 24 hours. This is something that you can easily do. All right? Now, what you want to do in terms of lifestyle, you would have figured it out. Improve your sleep, learn techniques to manage your stress better, and exercise. A mix of strength training, a mix of cardio, a mix of flexibility, mobility, whatever you like, as long as you are able to get these movements into your life for your blood circulation and for the health of your heart. What tests should you do? You do a lipid profile, you get your cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL, LDL, VLDL, all that is good. What you want to do is an ApoB. Now, lipoproteins, the ones that I said are moving through your blood vessel. If you have a high ApoB, these are the dangerous lipoproteins that have the ability to stick to your artery. So you don't want that. Now, if you have a high ApoB and you have a high hs-CRP, which is an inflammatory marker of your heart, you want to get treated. In most cases, your doctor will ask you to get a calcium score. And if your calcium score is on the higher side, you definitely have plaque and you will warrant medication. Can you change your lifestyle as well? Yes, you can. You can get better, but you will warrant medication at that time, which I advise you to take, because that medication can prevent a rupture of plaque. Think of plaque as a little sac holding stuff together. If it ruptures in your artery, you can have a serious cardiac event. So yes, I'm a fan of natural, but when medicine is needed, it is needed. And you should take it as a crutch, commit to changing your lifestyle, manage the side effect of that medication. For example, you're on a statin, it depletes CoQ10, it depletes selenium. Make sure you're getting that back in through your vitamins or through your food. There are ways to manage the side effects of medication, but prevention is way better than an incident. And as you start to get better and your scores get better, guess what? Your own doctor will reduce your medication. So it's extremely important to understand that's how it works for you. So whatever's happening right now, where your fears are never going to solve the problem. Knowledge is and action. Come back down. What can I do for my endothelial lining? What can I do for the endothelial lining of my child, of my teenager, of my parents? Because that is the basic fundamental of what is going wrong, whether it's thrombosis, whether it's a low immune system, whether it is plaque, whether it's stents in your heart, a cardiac event, whatever it is. You want to fix the basics. And it starts with your endothelial lining and your glycocalyx. So if you actually see the human body as a marvel of microscopic engineering, it's built everything to work perfectly and support organ health until we, our lifestyle and our food starts to destroy it. Is there a medicine to fix the endothelial function or the glycocalyx? Unfortunately, no. It is only your lifestyle and foods that can boost nitric oxide. So this is how it works. So you have a list. I'm sure someone would have made a list of all of these things. If not, we'll post it in a couple of days. Like I said, don't get worried if you can't do beetroot. Maybe you can do a spinach juice once in a way if you don't have a kidney problem, stones, or high oxalates. Or you have the nuts, the pomegranate, and the other sources of food. But if you can't have beetroot, it's actually a superfood. It's an absolute superfood. Now, if you don't want to juice it, eat it. You can eat it as well. You'll still produce nitric oxide. It's just that I've got a lot of other ingredients in. So that is the standard recipe. That's the base recipe. Now, in the interest of time, I like to get more out of what I eat. So to the base, I'll add carrot. I'll add a teaspoon of psyllium husk, not because I'm constipated, because fiber is great for your ApoB. It's great for your cholesterol. And I will add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar because I just like it. And I believe apple cider vinegar is also fantastic for our health as long as we're diluting it with water and not having it plain. Rinsing your mouth after you have anything with apple cider vinegar so you can somewhat protect the enamel of your teeth. So that's how I build. Sometimes I'll add cucumber to it. The base is beetroot for nitric oxide. Make sure you share this with as many people as you can. We'll share the recipe with you soon. But it all starts, the little things that we can do right now is protect our endothelial lining. That is going to give us a lease. If you ask me what is longevity when it comes to heart health, it's exercise, sleep, all of that. Longevity is the ability to protect the breakdown or the degradation of your glycocalyx and your endothelial lining. Have a great night, everyone, and thank you for your time.